Hi and welcome to a video in my Home Assistant GMKtec video series. And in this third episode, what we'll be doing is setting up Home Assistant. So we'll be getting the basic configuration set up and basic settings in there so that it's ready to add our integrations and automations in a future upcoming video. So what we'll be doing in this video is creating our user account, creating backups, and also adding our rooms and areas and so on. And we'll also add the HACS integrations and file editor as well. So I'll show you all how to do that in this video. It's quite simple, so it should be easy to follow, so that they are for basic users and intermediate users as well, which you might find useful. So if you haven't watched the first and the second videos in my Home Assistant GMKtec series, I'll put a link here and here so that you can watch those two episodes before you actually continue on with this episode. Unless you've already seen them previously, then you can carry on watching this video, of course. Or if you're just starting, you've already got Home Assistant installed on a machine, then you can start watching the video from now on. And we'll get started right now onto the PC. So with the GMKtec mini PC restarted and it's set in my cabinet, and as I said, we've disconnected the keyboard, the mouse and the screen and so on. So it's all just plugged into the network. So all we have is the power cable plugged into it, the Ethernet cable, and that's it. So what I've done is logged into my router or router, whichever you like to call it, depending on where you're located, and I've obtained the IP address. Now you should be able to type in the address bar http://homeassistant.local:8123. However, it's not working on my system, which I'll look into later. So what I've done is logged into my router, obtained the IP address and typed that into the address bar, as you will see. Now you must have .8123 at the end of the IP address or domain name, as this is the port number that Home Assistant runs on by default. So once you've entered the IP address, you should be presented with the welcome screen, as you will see here. And all we need to do is click on Create My Smart Home. Then for the Create User, which is our first user, and it will be the administrator, we'll give it a name, username, password, and then confirm password. So in this case, I'll put my name in as Tim. My username will be Tim, and the password, which I've already created. So I'm going to paste this in and confirm it, paste it in, and then click on the Create Account button. Then it will ask you for your location, where you're based. This is for various sensors and integrations. So enter your home location, and in this case, for this video, I'll call it London. And from the selection, we have London, London, Greater London, England, United Kingdom. So we'll select this and click Next. Then for the Help Us Help You, we can send anonymous information to Home Assistant. So at the moment, they're all defaulted to disabled. So we'll leave that all as disabled and click Next. Then it's saying we have found compatible devices. So it's found a Bluetooth device, a DLNA digital media server, an SM Lite SLZB. Now this is my new SM Lite Zigbee device, which is powered by my network over PoE, and it's also plugged into my switch. So it's also found that device. I'll tell you about SM Lite and the Zigbee device that is branded as in probably a future video, or maybe later on in this video, depending on how long the video lasts. So moving along, we have Synology, and it's also detected the Disk Station Manager and also the Zigbee Home Automation, which is tied in with the SM Lite. So what we'll do is click Finish for the time being on those. And as you can see, this has taken us to our dashboard. And this is the overview screen, which is also called the dashboard. So you can refer to it as dashboard or the overview screen. Some people refer to it as dashboard, some overview. Updating to the latest version. So to update Home Assistant, you will see that we have a notification in the left hand side here at the bottom. So click on notifications and you'll see we've got new devices discovered. So we'll dismiss that for the time being. Then you'll see that we've also got a notification for settings. So we've got one notification for settings. So select settings and you'll see we've got one update for Home Assistant Core Update. So click on this and then all you do is you could untick the create backup before updating, as this is the new Home Assistant and we haven't actually added any integrations or set up anything yet. So we can untick that as we don't need a backup for this and just click install and wait for the installation to complete, and then after that Home Assistant will automatically reload and restart. Now that Home Assistant has restarted itself and reloaded, we can check that we're on the latest version by going down to settings at the left hand side and then clicking about from the central menu here. And you'll see that we're now on Home Assistant Core 2024.10.1, which is the latest official version at the time of recording this video on the 8th of November 2024. So now what we'll do is go back to the overview screen. So to do this, select overview at the left hand side and you'll see we've got our username in one box, and then the box underneath that we've got the current weather forecast. Now what we'll do is move on to the next part, which is creating your rooms, floors and areas. So to create our rooms, floors and areas, what we need to do is go to settings again at the left hand side at the bottom, and then we select areas, labels and zones. Now you'll see that we've already got unassigned areas, which is by default created in Home Assistant automatically, and this is bedroom, kitchen and living room. So should you have upper rooms and floors, then what you would do is click on create floor at the bottom right corner. But in this case what we're going to do is create area. So we'll click create area, and then from the create area box that appears on screen we'll give it a name. So for example, we'll call this hall, and then we'll select an icon should you wish to have an icon, that is. Floor, you can select a floor, and you'll see that we don't have any floors, so we'll click this option, and then what we could do should we wish is add a label, and as you'll see we've got no labels found as we haven't created any. So what we'll do is just click add, and as you can see this has now created our hall. So we've got bedroom, hall, kitchen and living room. So now what I'm going to do is create another area, and we'll call this front garden, and just click on add. Then what we'll do is create another area and we'll call this back garden and click add. We'll also create one more area and we'll call this front porch and click add. So now that I've created all of my rooms and areas in my home, we can continue on with the next stage. Obviously, if you want to go in and add pictures, for example, of your living room, kitchen, hall, you can do this by at the same time as creating your area. So you would click on create area, and then where the picture option is, you would drag or drop your file there with a picture of your back garden, bedroom, front garden, so on, and then this would appear in the blue area on the cards here, what you can see on screen. However, we can always do that later on should we wish. So what we'll do now is move on to the next option, and this is adding file editor. So it's useful to add a file editor so that you can edit the files later on should you wish. So this is for editing, for example, YAML files. Now, YAML extension files are what Home Assistant uses for most of its, in fact, probably all of its operations. So should you so wish and become advanced later on in Home Assistant, you can edit YAML files using a file editor. So it's always useful to add the file editor now rather than having it done later on and having to mess around later on and add it. So if we do all this from the start, then we've got all the basic settings there that we need, so we can then continue on and use Home Assistant without having to mess around and add all our facilities later on. So to add file editor, what we need to do is go to settings at the left hand side, so click settings. This will take us into the main settings menu, as you will see here, and then to add file editor, what we'll do is click on add-ons. Then at the bottom right corner we'll select add-on store. Then what we'll do in the search bar at the top, we'll search for file editor, and as you will see we've got the official add-on called file editor. So to install this, we click on it. Then what we do is select the option to install, which is in this top window here, and click install. And then just wait for the file editor to install itself. And as you can see, we've now got some options popped up, which is start on boot, which is enabled. Watchdog, we will enable this. What it will do is automatically restart file editor should it ever crash for some reason. So also what we'll do is click show in sidebar, so we'll enable that option. So as you can see now, we've just got file editor popped up at our left hand side here. So it's easy to select. All we need to do is click on file editor should we wish to use it in the future. So now that we've enabled those three options, start on boot, watchdog, show in sidebar, what we'll do is click on start to start the file editor integration and just wait for it to start. And as you can see, it's now started and we've got the stop and restart option. Now that we've added file editor, what we'll do is move on, enable advanced mode. So to enable advanced mode, what you need to do is click on your username at the bottom left corner, which is here. As you can see, I've got Tim. So select this and then scroll down under user settings. You will see we've got advanced mode. So currently this is disabled. So what you need to do is click the slider and it will turn it blue, and that will enable advanced mode for our user account. Now this is useful for getting into advanced things should you wish to later on, and it also enables further options in Home Assistant which can become very useful in the future. So now that we've done that, what we'll do is add the GitHub repository for HACS, which is HACS, meaning Home Assistant Community Store. So to enable this option, what you need to do is click settings at the left hand side, then select add-ons from the central menu, and then from the bottom right corner select add-on store. Then with the three dots at the top right corner, select this and select repositories. Then from repositories you'll see that we've already got one in there for Music Assistant. So under the line for add, what we're going to do is type in https://github.com. So type in https://github.com/HACS, HACS, then one more / and then type add-ons. So you should have https://github.com/HACS/add-ons. Then once you've done that, click on add, and as you can see we've now got the HACS add-on repository. So once you've done that, you can click close. Now that we've done that, we'll move on to the next step. Add HACS add-on repository. So to install the HACS add-on repository, what we'll need to do is go to settings, then click on add-ons. Then from the add-on store button at the bottom right corner, select this, and then in the search bar at the top, type in get space HACS. And as you can see, we've got get HACS popped up. So click on this, and then all you need to do is under get HACS, changelog rating, click install. Then for the option start on boot, enable this by clicking the button, and also the option for auto update, click the button to auto update it. Then what we'll do is click on the start button to start HACS. Once it's started, the get HACS status button, which is here and which is currently red, should turn green. As you can see, it's now just quickly turned green, and we've got the host name, CPU usage and RAM usage popped up. So this means that HACS add-on repository is now installed and enabled and running. So now the next thing we're going to do is add system monitor. So to add our system monitor, what we'll do is click on settings and then go to devices and services, and then the bottom right corner click add integration. Then what we're going to do in the setup new integration and search for a brand name box, we'll type in system monitor, and as you can see, we've got system monitor popped up with a little blue speedometer icon next to it. So click this and then click on submit. Then we've got the success message, and what we need to do is tell system monitor which room it's in. However, as it's not in a room, it's in my server cabinet, we'll just click finish on this for the time being. So that's now completed adding system monitor. So move on to the next option, which is adding HACS integration to the sidebar. So to add HACS integration to the sidebar here, what we need to do is click on settings, then select devices and services. Then what we'll do is click add integration from the bottom right corner. Then from the add integration screen, in the search bar we'll type in HACS, which is HACS, and as you can see, we've got HACS popped up with the little blue HACS logo, a cloud and a cardboard box next to it. So click on HACS, select all four options with the tick boxes, and then click submit. Then what you need to do is open up a new web page and go to github.com, and what you need to do from the GitHub web page is click on sign up in the top right corner, enter your email address. So in this case I will enter my email address and click continue. Then what you need to do is create a password for your GitHub account and click continue. Then create your username. So in this case I'll type in MTT YouTube and click continue. Then for the email preference box, just click continue, and what you need to do is verify your account. So click verify and then complete the task which it shows you on screen at the moment. Then check your email and paste in the verification code, and then you will be taken to the sign in to GitHub page. So just type in your username and password, click sign in. Then with you at the dashboard for GitHub, go back to your Home Assistant page with the settings, click on the GitHub login device link. Then what you will do is click continue, and then go back to your Home Assistant page again, copy the code in the box there, and then paste this into the device activation box on your GitHub page. Then click continue and then select authorize HACS. and then it should say congratulations, you're all set. So this completes the HACS integration for Home Assistant. So what you could do is close this congratulations page and close your GitHub page, and you will see a success message on your Home Assistant page, so you can click finish. Now you'll see you've got HACS in the menu at the left hand side, so there you can browse all of the integrations on GitHub which work with HACS, so you can just download them automatically via the HACS integration here on the left sidebar. So now that we've done all those steps in the video that I've just shown you, the final thing to do, and you should always do this before you make any major changes to your Home Assistant, is to take a backup. So to take a backup, what we'll do is go back to our overview page. So we'll start at the overview page, and then what we'll do is from the overview page go to settings at the left hand side. Then what we'll do is select system from the central menu, and then what we'll do is select backups. So click on backups, and then from the bottom right corner click the button to create backup. Then from the backup window screen where it shows you create backup, you can give your backup file a name. So we can call this backup after initial setup, so that it refers to something that we can refer back to should we need to. And all you need to do is make sure that full backup is selected, and should you wish you can also password protect the backup file. I'm saving my backups onto my local network, so I don't choose to use password protection, but if you're, for example, saving your backups to the cloud, then that might be a good option to take by selecting password protection. So once you've got your information entered into that window, click on create, and it will then create the backup with the spinning donut wheel, as you can see, and just wait for the backup to finish. And as you can see, it's now taken us back to our list of backups, and we've got our backup file in there called backup after initial setup. You'll also see a couple of other backups in there which I did previously just for testing purposes. So at least now we've got our backup file. Now should you wish, you can actually download the backup file and save it to somewhere else on your network, or you can leave it on your GMKtec mini PC and leave the backup there. However, once you get a lot of backups, it could actually fill up your storage device in your GMKtec mini PC, so it could become a bit full as it's storing all of the Home Assistant files and everything else in there as well. So you could actually save your backup file somewhere else on your network, and to do this what you need to do is just select the backup file that you want to download. So click on the backup name, and then from the central window where it says backup after initial setup, so that's the name of our backup file, select the three dots and then select download backup, and this will then open up your save window where you can save in Explorer and in the folder that you choose the backup file, so it will save it as a compressed archive folder. So you can save it there. For example, should you get a warning in the top right corner, so you might get a yellow warning triangle, as you can see I've done here in the top right corner, select this and then select the option to keep. This is because I'm using a Chromium based browser, so you may also get that same message. So just click keep, and it will then continue to download and save the file to your local computer or network drive. So once you've done that, you can then click X in the backup after initial setup window in the center, and then you've got the backup file there, so you can just select it, and then you can select the option to delete selected backup, which would then free up some space on your GMKtec PC and your Home Assistant file system. So you can remove the backup from there should you so wish. So that completes setting up Home Assistant with our basic setup and all the facilities in it, so that we can move forward and start doing integrations, automations and adding devices and so on to Home Assistant, which we'll do in a future video. So I hope you liked this video. Hope you found it helpful, easy to follow. Thank you for watching, and I'll be back soon with more videos. Bye for now.